Good morning, everyone. I'm excited at this opportunity and welcome you to Idea Week, the week of virtual public engagement for the Lexington County Grow With Us comprehensive planning process. I hope you share my enthusiasm today during the kickoff of public input. My name is Holland Leger. I am the Director of Planning and GIS for Lexington County. This department is tasked with the preparation and implementation of the comprehensive plan, a policy document intended to guide the growth and development of this county for generations to come. In order to do so, we have contracted with the Clarion and Associates team, in my opinion, the best private planning firm in the country, skilled in the preparation of long-range plans. Representing the firm and here online with me today is project manager, Ms. Leanne King. Leanne is a well-respected land use planner and professional colleague of mine who I have worked with on any number of projects over the last 10 years. Leanne has with her a robust team of professional experts in all of the various disciplines of planning, including transportation, land use, finance, economics, housing, zoning, land use law, and other fields such as geographic information systems, marketing, and public engagement. This group is here to assist us through the process. We have an hour-long program of engagement to be followed by some online exercises by you to be undertaken to help us plan for the growth of this county in the next 10 to 20 years. That said, I will turn the floor over to Leanne, who will guide you through the process. Welcome and thank you, Leanne. The audience is yours.
Thanks, Holland, and thank you all for joining us this morning. This is the first of 7 meetings as part of Idea Week. We're kicking off the Grow With Us Responsibly Planning Lexington County comprehensive planning process. And so thank you all for spending your Monday morning with us. We're very happy to be with you and that you have you think it's important to think about the future of Lexington County because it definitely is. As you can see here, this is the team, or at least part of the team that's working on the comprehensive planning process that will be joining us during these 7 meetings this week. So again, I'm Leanne King with Clarion Associates. Also joining me from Clarion is David Henning. Jeff Green will be joining on and off this week. From Planning Next, we have Sarah Bongiorno and Cyril Viola, and then Ernie Bauman is on from the tool design group. And there's you, Holland. So thanks all team members. Couple of specifics for those of you that are joining today. We are going to be going through several items. We've got a quick presentation that I will give you here in just a moment that will give you an overview of some of the quick facts and trends that are important to understand about Lexington County. Then we're going to have some small group discussions where you'll get to talk with fellow residents about the future of the county, and particularly Planning Area 7 if you're interested in talking about that focus area. Then we're going to have a polling opportunity where you all will join together and get to share your opinions about some critical issues and values and see the real-time responses to those questions. And then we're going to have our call to action, which is really the really important piece to this, which is to get you to fill out the online questionnaires that are part of this engagement process. A couple of housekeeping things. If you have any questions during the meeting, you'll see on your Zoom bar that's either at the bottom or the top of your screen that there is a chat function, and you can go there to include a chat. You can also go there to see other people's questions and responses if they send them to the full group. We also are recording this meeting so that we can put it up on the project website. So if, for example, your spouse or loved one or neighbor or friend wants to see this after the fact, we will be posting these up on the website. They're also welcome to join one of the other 6 meetings that are going to be taking place this week. Okay, with that, I'm going to jump into the presentation. So first, a little bit about what a comprehensive plan is. It's a planning document that will guide Lexington County over the next 20 years as you make decisions about change in your community. And it serves several different functions. We consider comprehensive plans to be blueprints. So they really kind of guide the future of the county in terms of in a set of goals and strategies that are laid out to define, where the county is heading. It's a compass that guides direction making and local decision making for a whole host of different things, including capital improvements, rezonings, etc. It's also a playbook for capital projects. So if there are any new facilities or transportation projects, etc., that come out of this process, that will be helping to inform future capital investments by the county. Comprehensive plans also serve as marketing tools to help articulate the community's vision. So a new resident or a new business that's looking to relocate can look at your comprehensive plan and have an understanding of where you're heading as a community. Specific to Lexington County, there are 4 key things that we want to accomplish as part of this process. We want to identify the core community values that you all have as a kind of collective and use those as the foundation for the county's first modern comprehensive plan. And this process here is one of the most critical parts of establishing those values. So thank you for participating. It also helps us plan for and respond to the pressure for growth that's being felt across the county and has manifested in a wide variety of ways. And that's really one of the big reasons that we're hosting this planning effort right now, is to respond to that growth and to plan for future growth. We want to have an inclusive process that's mindful of your concerns and concerns of community partners and staff. And we want to satisfy state requirements so that the county can act to implement with confidence. So South Carolina actually requires communities have comprehensive plans, and we'll be achieving those requirements through this process. We're early in the planning stage, so we kicked this project off back this summer, and we established the project website. Hopefully you've seen that. That website will be available to you, and you saw it earlier at the end of the video. Right now, we are working on phase 2, community assessment and envisioning, and we're really kicking this off with the community as part of this idea week this week. So we've got a lot to accomplish this week, a lot to learn. We'll take that as well as assessment work we're doing and post that to the project website. And then we'll be coming in phase 3 to look at different growth alternatives for the community. There'll be another opportunity next summer for you all to engage and give your reactions to different growth alternatives. And then finally, we'll start beginning to develop the plan and come back in the December of next year, 2021, to unveil a draft plan for community reaction before it goes on to the plan adoption process. We consider planning to really be a cycle. You never want your plan to be stagnant or to sit on a shelf and collect dust. It's just like any other business or organization. Planning for a local government needs to be dynamic and consistent and ever flowing. And so with this process, we're really kind of starting the phase of setting policy direction for the community that sets work priorities, then funding priorities. You implement those priorities, and then you assess your progress over time, and again, start over. Because in the future, you'll have new conditions and new ideas and opportunities. And so again, planning is a cycle that we want to continue to kind of keep up on top of. For Lexington County, you may be familiar with the 7 voting districts, or for your elected body, for your council. We are using another set of geographies called sub-planning areas that have been used in the past to take a look at the county. They're slightly different than those county council districts. And you can see the definition of each of these sub-areas here. So again, we're looking at sub-area 7 today that includes Batesburg, Leesville, Summit, and Gilbert. Most of the data that I'll be sharing with you is county-wide. But we will be looking at some specific information to this planning area. Okay, so let's talk about Lexington County, some of the key facts we think it's important for you to understand. So it's probably no surprise to you all that Lexington County is one of the fastest growing counties in the state. It added nearly 80,000 new residents between 2000 and 2018. Projections show that the county is going to continue to grow and add an additional 150,000 residents in the next 20 years by 2040. So one of the big questions that this planning effort is going to be looking at is, where do those new households and businesses associated with that new population go? How are they designed? How are they located? How are we going to support these people through public services? Those are some of the big questions we'll be looking at. We know that Lexington County is slightly more diverse from a racial and ethnic perspective than it was a decade ago, and it has a higher median income and educational attainment than South Carolina overall. We know the municipalities are growing, and there's 3 times as much municipal land as there was in the initial municipal charters that were established years ago. However, that growth has not necessarily been the same across all municipalities, and we'll show that here in just a moment. Nearly 3/4 of the land in the county is either rural use or unimproved residential land. So we know that there's actually a lot of land that could change over time, and we want to be thinking about what areas makes the most sense for us to be doing that, and areas that maybe we want to be directing growth away from. That's part of this process. Much of the other land uses are concentrated in the north and east of the county. We also know, looking at projections for jobs, healthcare is going to be a big industry for the Midlands region and is expected to happen in Lexington County as well. And it has 5 of the fastest growing careers are all in personal healthcare. When looking at transportation, we know that employment centers are a big factor, and most jobs are clustered in the municipalities near the river, the Congaree near the airport, and along interstates and major roads. So we know that that's important to be thinking about in terms of transportation needs in the future and dealing with shortcomings today. About half, 49.4% of county maintained roads are unpaved, and those are concentrated in southwest and southeastern areas of the county. Those roads, number of them, 220 miles worth, have been petitioned for paving. And what we have learned is that the funding that is available is not really sufficient to meet persistent demand to pave unpaved roads. So that's another challenge that we're going to be looking at in this process. We know that there are more people commuting by car in 2018 than there were in 2010, and they're spending a little bit more time driving to work than they did over that same time period. We also know that there's a higher demand for walking, biking, and transit infrastructure, particularly in the eastern part of Lexington County. So this chart and table here shows a little bit about what we are experiencing in terms of population growth. We know that the majority of population in the county, 3/4, resides actually in unincorporated Lexington County. And you see here Summit, Gilbert, and Batesburg, Leesville, and in terms of growth and change between 2000 and 2018, Summit has increased significantly. Gilbert has seen some good growth, and Batesburg, Leesville actually decreased in population during that time. So again, the growth is not happening the same in all places. And again, this just shows the population projections that we're expecting. As I mentioned previously, 150,000 new residents are expected to live here by 2040. And we anticipate a lot of that growth is going to happen in the unincorporated portions of the county. When we look at population density, kind of people per acre, we know that a lot more people live in the eastern portions of the county than the western portions, but there is a lot of growth in these outer areas as well. When we look at our population in terms of age, this is a kind of a family aged community. We have not as many folks in the 20 to 24-year-old category and then the 65 to 84-year-old categories when compared to the state of South Carolina. So a lot more kind of midlifers and younger children. When we look at who's moving to the county, where they're migrating from, it's interesting. Nearly 2/3 of folks coming to Lexington County are actually coming from somewhere else in South Carolina. Richland County and Kershaw being the highest two counties they're coming from. And then after that, they're coming from North Carolina, Georgia, New York, and Florida. Job locations. So we've got jobs throughout the county, but really, again, clustering in the eastern and central portions of the county, particularly along the major roadways. And what's important to understand is what we call worker inflow and outflow. And what that means is on any given kind of traditional workday, we have approximately 73,000 folks that are driving into Lexington County to work, and about 71,000 that are leaving Lexington County to go elsewhere to work. So a lot of people on the roads traveling each day to get into jobs and to get out to their jobs elsewhere. Then we have about 54,000 folks that are actually traveling within the county to work. So I'm sure you all have experienced some of the traffic and congestion, and that's a big portion of why that happens. Existing land use is something we're looking at in this project because we all want to understand what development is occurring where in the community. And we know that rural uses and unimproved residential lands, which take up more than 60%, almost 70%, or a little over 70% of the land area within the county, are opportunities for growth and change. And so we want to be evaluating what those opportunities look like. And again, setting a course for direction to determine where development should be occurring in the county. When you look at this map here for planning area 7, you can see that a lot of the lighter green and yellow areas are the kind of unimproved residential land, single family residential, and rural uses. Not as much kind of commercial development as you see in the red, and institutional as you see in the blue, as in other parts of the county. For the housing stock, Lexington County has a higher proportion of single-family detached and mobile home units than when compared to South Carolina overall. So that's something to be looking at in this process is there a need for other types of units, and where should they best be located? Annexation, I mentioned earlier that there's 3 times the amount of annexed land as there was from the initial charters of those communities. When you look at planning area 7, you can see the initial charters here in gray and a little bit of growth again around the edges of the communities where annexations have occurred over time. We're also looking at zoning and development regulations because those regulations help to guide growth and development in the county. And it may be that there need to be adjustments to that coming out of this process. When we look at planning area 7, we see that the majority of the land here is in kind of a low density residential and restricted development category, as well as having some other uses here, the limited restriction down here to the south. So that's something that we'll be looking at when we look at our growth alternatives in terms of what kind of development can happen where. So that concludes the data portion of this presentation. So there's going to be a document that will be available on the project website that will have the slides I just shared, plus a whole lot more data if that's something that you like to look into. You are welcome to jump online. That should be up in the next 2 to 3 weeks, and we'll send out notification to all the folks that have signed up on the website. So please feel free to go to the website and sign in if you'd like to get notified of that. And from here, I'm going to hand it off to Sarah Bongiorno to walk us through the breakout discussions.
Great. Thanks, Leanne. Good morning, everybody. So at this point in the program this morning, in just a minute, we're going to put you into what we're calling small breakout groups through the technological wonder of Zoom. So that you can share some ideas and talk with your fellow neighbors. We're going to automatically kind of randomly place you into the chat rooms with about, six or seven other folks. And we're going to give you a prompt that you all can think about and then talk amongst yourselves and share. Now, I did want to let you know the planning team members, the folks here, you'll see with the, we look like we're sitting in the lake there with the logo behind us. We will be popping into the breakout rooms every so often, just checking on you. We don't want to interrupt, but we do want to be available in case there's a question or anything. So we will be popping in to kind of just keep an eye on things. And then once you're in your breakout room, don't forget to unmute your microphone. You should be able to do that, and that way you can talk freely amongst yourselves. And like I said, we will be putting you into that. Watch your screen, because there'll be a little pop-up button where you'll click to accept or join the breakout room, and then we'll bring you back to this main meeting when we're done in about 12 to 15 minutes. Now, before we go into the breakout rooms, I just want to go over a few little pieces of etiquette. I'm sure you guys are all such a great group, but just to remind ourselves that there's a lot of diversity in the county, and different opinions are expected and should be respected. The diversity of the members in your group, should enrich the conversation and ideas. And it's okay to challenge ideas, but personal attacks, we should stay away from that. And we want to listen to others without interruption. It's an important opportunity. And make sure that, folks get a chance to talk. So help ensure that everyone gets a chance to share their ideas during the breakout session. So I'm gonna say the question prompt here, but it's also going to be in the chat function. So at the bottom of your Zoom, oh, there it is on the slide there. But once you get into your breakout sessions, if you want to revisit the prompt, if you go to your chat, hit the chat button at the bottom of your screen there, you can see it. It will be typed in there. So the question is, because we're talking about planning area 7 today, imagine this planning area of Lexington County in 20 years. Picture the people, events, and places here. What do you hope for the future of this area? Or if you'd like to think about the county as a whole, that's fine too. So we want you to really, close your eyes for a second and think about the county in this particular area of the county in 20 years, and then talk amongst yourselves in your small group, share your ideas, and have a discussion. This is really a chance meant for you all to have some connection amongst the fellow participants and your fellow neighbors, to talk with each other. And then we will, in about 12 to 15 minutes, we will bring you all back together. So give us just a second here. We're going to do the back end thing to get everybody into the breakout rooms. And when you see the box pop up on your screen, you can click the join button to move into your breakout room. And we'll see you back here in a few minutes. Hope everybody had a good time in their breakout session. We're going to give a few seconds here for everyone to join back in. And Cyril, can you is everyone back in the main meeting? Yep, okay. So we're going to move on now. And I just wanted to let you guys know in the chat function there, if you want to share some of the thoughts that were shared within your small group or your own ideas to that prompt, feel free to put it into the chat function here. But we are going to move on now to something that should be really fun, and I'm going to get it set up, so bear with 1 second here. But if everybody in the meantime could get out their smartphones, if you have a smartphone, and if you don't worry, you can follow along and watch. But if you have a smartphone, go ahead and get it out and get it ready, because we are going to do a polling exercise here in just a second. Okay, can everyone see the screen here? So if you got your smartphone out, if you can go to open up a web browser where you normally go find the internet, and you type in the address www.menti, that's MENTI.com. It's at the top of the screen here. And once you get there, it should prompt you for a code, and the code is here on the screen, 6828154. And I'll give everyone just a second to kind of get there.
Were you able to get those things?
All right. Okay, great. Now, some of you found it. Great. So as you find it there, it should prompt you on your phone there to participate. You can see people are starting to put in their answers. And if you're watching your screen, you should be able to see how folks are responding here. And we'll let this go for a few seconds to give everyone, these are some warm-up questions. We want to make sure everyone's comfortable with the platform and has gotten in and is able to participate. Looks like we've got about 14 folks participating.
And if you are one of the folks that picked other in terms of your favorite outdoor category, if you want to share that with us, you can go in the chat feature and type in my favorite outdoor activity is, and whatever it is. That'd be fun to know.
Yep. There's 15. 16. 19. We're almost there. I think we got about 20 so folks.
Looks like we have a golfer in our group.
Yeah, that's good. Golfing. A lot
Uh-huh.
of people like the hiking and outdoor. Almost half of you. Okay, I'm gonna move on now, and you'll see we got a few warm-up questions, and then we'll get into some more specific questions. But as I advance this slide, if you look down at your phone, it should have advanced, and so you can now answer this next question. Now, this next question: were you born in Lexington County? Maybe the hospital might have been across the county boundaries, but was your family living in Lexington County when you were born? Is what we're asking. Almost half and half there. Oh, now we're exactly. All right, so we got a good mix then of people who are born in Lexington County and folks that have since moved in. All right, I'm going to advance to the next question. Okay, so how long have you lived in Lexington County? And there's also an option there that if you don't live in the county, that maybe you're joining in because you work or you own business or you're just interested in the county in this particular area of the county. Great. So we've got a good split. Nobody in the 5 to 9 year age, but everybody else, we got kind of a good split of different tenures in the county with us this morning. So that's great. And I will say that all these questions, all the answers, everything you put in here is going to go into the database, and we'll be collecting it from all the meetings as part of our input process.
And it's also anonymous too. So
yeah, it's all anonymous. Yes. Okay, now we're gonna do a, you wanna know kind of from which part of the county, so you can put your zip code in. This is gonna be a word cloud, so it'll be kind of fun. So we can, different representations from different parts of the county.
looks like 29070 has it.
Yeah, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, about 6 different zip codes represented. Great.
And if you're telling friends to join other meetings, it's totally fine if they're not from that planning area. You know, they don't have to be specific to that planning area. Tell them to join one of these meetings, whatever works for them.
Yeah. All right, so we got a pretty good. We got people representing from most age groups, except for we don't have anyone in the younger, real young, the college age, but they're always a little bit harder to get, especially at this hour. We'll hopefully pick some of them up in some other meetings. Okay, I'm gonna move on here. So this question's about why are you turning into this meeting? So you can choose all that apply. We're just trying to get a sense of people's you know, thinking as they tune in this morning. Lots of people are curious. That's good. They have ideas to share and they want to be helpful. Got a few folks. Oh, the same thing for that Leanne mentioned earlier for that another reason. If there's another reason and you want to put it in the chat function, please feel free to use that. That's great. We got so many folks that want to be helpful and have ideas and are curious. That's really great. Okay, I'm gonna move on. So this is the planning area map, and I just want to flash this up briefly to remind you that we are talking about planning area 7 over here and sort of the teal on the west side. These next couple questions are kind of focusing in on this part of the county. So why do you care about this planning area 7? And you can choose all that apply here. And again, if there's another option and you want to give us more specifics, you can use the chat function. Okay. They'll have a split between people who work and live here, and they've got family in the area, so that's good. Okay. I'm gonna keep moving on because we want to make sure we get you out of here close to on time. So, question 8: do you go to different parts of the county or planning areas on a daily or weekly basis? So looks like a lot of people are moving about to different parts of the county. All right, great. Now, just a guesstimate, but how many miles do you travel to get to work if you work? And there's an option there if you don't work or if you don't drive. Trying to get a sense of commuting patterns. Okay, great. Okay, so this one you can type it in, and I would try to be as brief as possible. 1 word or a 2-word answer here would be best because this is another word cloud. But what is your favorite place to take visitors to show off Lexington County? When you have someone come visit you, where do you like to take them to really show them the best of Lexington County?
We had a steering committee meeting 2 weeks ago, and Lake Murray, I think, won that one as well. It looks like that's shaping up again.
Yeah.
But you have a lot of different great places to take people, which is wonderful. Ooh, Sheely's Barbecue. I love barbecue. We'll have to check that one out next time we're there.
Yeah, this is a great way to get different restaurant recommendations.
Right.
All right. Okay. And question 11. What are the most important aspects of Lexington County that keep you living here? So this is really for folks that are already living in the county, but choose 2. You can choose up to 2 on this one, and there's different options there. And if it's something else not on the list, again, feel free to use the chat to give us some more specific input.
Yeah, someone mentioned the schools in our breakout room, and we've been hearing that a lot throughout this process. So that's wonderful that you have great schools.
Okay. I'm gonna advance to this is the last question. When you think about the future, select the top 2 topics you think need to be addressed for this planning area. So again, we're thinking about planning area 7, but if you've got thoughts about the entire county as well, that's fine. And you can choose up to 2 on this question.
And as our group was talking, growth could mean that you want to control growth. It could also mean that you want to spur growth in specific areas. So it's not necessarily assuming one way or the other in terms of that answer choice here.
Yep, looks like we've got growth and infrastructure, which are obviously really integral and tied together. So that's good.
And for the other category, please tell us what those other issues are because we'd like to capture those.
Yeah. Okay. All right, great. Well, I appreciate everybody participating in this. Like I said, we're going to download all these results anonymously and put them into our database. And I've got one last thing here. I'm going to exit out. Give me a second to switch screens. So this is the Grow With Us lexco.com website. And you know, we've begun to hear some, you know, in the breakout session, we heard some different topics and ideas and things that you're interested in. We got great input here from the polling, but we'd love for you to continue. This is just the first part. This virtual meeting is really the first part. We want you to head over, and if you have time now, once we close out the meeting, feel free to do it right now, or if you want to log back on later. But please visit the website. When you get to the Grow With Us lexco.com website, up here, share your ideas. You hit that button, and this will take you to our input page. And this will be up for a couple weeks, so you have some time, and feel free to share this page around with folks to get have their input as well. There are 4 parts to this online questionnaire. The first one asks about ideas about the county. There's ideas about the particular planning areas. You can tell us about specific areas on a map, and then there's some demographic information at the end. It's really important. So I'm going to run through this really quick. So ideas about the county, we got 3 questions. You know, about valuing, what things do you value in the county. We've got some fill in the blank here for what do you hope the county will focus on the next 5 to 10 years. And you've got the 7 planning areas. You can pick a planning area here, and then you can tell us different topics you think are important. You can add as many planning areas as you want. Now this one, there's some instructions here about this, but this is a really interesting where you can zoom in on this map. You can drop a pin, and you can tell us if this area, there's an issue or an opportunity. You can name the place and tell us why you marked that place. So, you know, in my small breakout room, we heard about a particular intersection that's had a lot of accidents and maybe it's gotten a little dangerous. And so, you know, I was encouraging that participant to maybe tell us about that on this map. So you can tell us about a particular intersection, a particular area of the county. And then there's some demographic questions here at the end. These are all anonymous, but they're really important for us to make sure that the participants that we're hearing from are, you know, representative of the county as a whole. So, you know, these are all anonymous, but we'd love for you to fill out these demographic questions. And then there's some additional comment here. There's an additional comment box here at the bottom of the screen, so you can tell us anything. And more so than the Mentimeter questions that we went through, you know, there's some open-ended places to, you know, to tell us what you're thinking and what you want to see for the future. So, you know, this should give you hopefully a lot of different opportunities to share your ideas about the county. So with that, I'm gonna pull up this last slide just to remind you all of the website, and I'm going to turn it back over to Leanne for a few closing remarks.
Yeah, so thank you all again for joining us this morning. One of the two things that we're going to ask your help with. The first, again, is to go to the website and complete the questionnaires that Sarah just walked you through. That's really critical information that we need from you all so we can understand you know, what your kind of values are, what your concerns and issues are. This is a little bit different, as Sarah mentioned, the questions on the website questionnaire are a little different than the polling that we just did. So, and that's available to the broader public, not all of whom are going to be able to join one of these meetings. So please go to the website and fill out those questionnaires. The other request is for you to tell a handful of people that you know care about the future of this county to encourage them to participate in this process, either coming to one of the meetings, but definitely filling out the online questionnaires through their website. You can even just send the link to the website to them if you think they won't be able to make a meeting, but there's also, you know, the meeting information and the RSVP, all of that's on the website as well. So please, 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 we're trying to get as many folks as we can. And we're doing just a little healthy competition between the different planning areas to see which one is going to get the most folks to join. We are going to be, again, doing this through the balance of the week. So we have meetings through Thursday. So please encourage folks to come. We're going to stay on here for another 30 minutes. So if you, for example, decide to go to the online questionnaire and complete that now and have questions, we will be available here. You can plug back into this meeting for the next half hour, and we'll be happy to help you with any questions you have. There is also contact information on the website if you have a question or just want to reach out and share some information. You can also use that open-ended response option in the questionnaire if there's other information you want to share with us. That's a good opportunity to do that. And then if you have any other questions now, please feel free to post them through the chat, and we'll be happy to take those and respond. And again, thank you so much for joining today. Fill up that questionnaire through the website and tell your friends, family, neighbors to participate as well. Thank you so much, and have a great Monday.